2025 is coming to an end, and what a year! When it comes to Honkai Impact 3rd, 2025 marked the first year in the history of the game where the length of the patches have been increased from 6 weeks to around 9 weeks. This meant that unlike before, when we got around 8 patches per year, this year we only got 6. Well, technically 7, since 8.6 starts right the day before the end of the year, but I will not be counting it for this video. So, because of this change in schedule, this year we got less content than we usually did, but that does not mean that the content we got was bad by any means. On the contrary, we got some incredible moments in the story that, in my opinion, are not only the best moments of part 2, but some of them can rival the best moments of the game overall. This is why I decided a few days ago to ask you guys what was your favorite story moment of Honkai Impact 3rd in 2025, and based on your answers and my personal choices, make a video to commemorate the end of the year and celebrate the most hype, emotional, beautiful and overall loved moments of Honkai Impact 3rd story in 2025. Keep in mind that I also include moments from events as well, not just the main story. So, without further ado... Wait. Give me a moment. Hello? Huh? What's this? One last ad read for the year. If you are like me, you probably play multiple gacha games and of course, HoYoverse games. If that's the case, allow me to introduce you to Eneba. Eneba is an online marketplace where you can top up in all your favorite HoYoverse games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero. The process is very simple. All you have to do is make an account, access the game you want to top up in, select your server and in-game UID, and you're done! If things are still complicated, do not worry. Eneba has a step-by-step guide tailor-made for each game that lets you understand extremely easy how to top up. Also, for those of you worried that you might get in trouble or that you might be at any kind of risk, you can put your mind at ease. Eneba offers official distribution for their top-up services, so your account is safe. The platform has many reviews and a long-standing history in selling games with many offers on multiple platforms, so you don't have to worry. Eneba also has a loyalty program with many rewards for frequent Eneba users. So, don't miss out. Eneba is super fast, safe and I've personally used it to top up in all the games I play. So, before you give in to the 50-50 gods, check out Eneba using the link in my description. It supports the channel and helps you get closer to C6ing your favorite character. Again, huge thanks to Eneba for sponsoring this video. Number 10. Kiana and Cecilia's interaction. Bon voyage towards blessings and wishes. Version 8.3.
准备惊喜，我却差点搞砸了一切，还害得你们所有人为我担心。明明你、老爸还有幽兰戴尔都是很优秀的人。
This year, we've been blessed by a new series of events in the bustling holiday timeline where, well, everybody lives and somehow timelines do not matter. Don't think too much about it. It's just a fun event timeline where the Saint Freya cast can interact with the Flamechasers, and as you've guessed, a timeline where Cecilia is alive. Although in my opinion this event was very inconsistent in terms of writing and quality, it had some very good moments. One of them was the interaction between Cecilia and Kiana. Although brief, many people who read the second eruption back in the day always wanted to see a world where Cecilia can live in peace with her daughters. And this is exactly what we got. Cecilia confronting Kiana and talking about how her birth was the best gift she could ever give her was one of the highlights of the event for me. This moment almost made me shed a tear and I couldn't stop smiling while playing this part. So, because of this, I decided to add it to this video. Number 9. The Meeting of the Three Goddesses. Part 2. Chapter 10. Chapter 10 had many crazy lore revelations, like the truth behind the people who suddenly appeared in the Osha from the Sea of Data, the relationship between the imaginary tree and the Sea of Quanta on Mars, but the one thing that truly took people by surprise the most was the fact that we learned that Goddess and Adina met with Vita and Kiana inside a dream in the past. This was a major lore bomb that might have something to do with Kiana being asleep and her message to the rest of the cast from Chapter 9EX. The truth behind Mars and how everything is connected back to Vita, Kiana and the Cocoon of Finality is closer and closer to being revealed, and I cannot wait to see more. Number 8. Coralie's Awakening, Part 2, Chapter 9.
天理をつなげよ。星の竜よ空をかけ、世を砕き、星を追え。終焉あれど。因果は不朽。
This year brought a lot of needed development for Helia and Coralie, and when I say development, I'm not referring only to personal and character development, no. They also gained some pretty cool powers as well. Although Coralie's design brought quite a lot of conflicting opinions regarding the amount of clothing she has, in the end I like the idea behind it. The Dark Lord has finally awakened as a Dragon Lord of Permanence. Not to mention that we got to learn a lot more about the Path of Permanence through her interactions with Nana and Naralab. Number 7. Rice Cake's development ongoing Make-A-Wish Fest Patch 8.1. Rice Cake was one of those characters from which I didn't expect much when I first saw her. I was like, haha, cute snake gag character. So you can imagine how surprised I was when I realized how much love and development this tiny creature got from the devs. Going from just a piece of Kiana's powers that got awakened in the form of a cute snake inside the dream, to doubting herself and her worth in Kiana's life, to accepting who she is and opening up to the people around her. Her interactions with Kiana were truly precious, and I am glad to see that she even got to appear in the main story later on. Rice Cake is part of the gang now, and I couldn't be happier to have her. Number 6. Dreamseeker confronting Leila, Part 2, Chapter 9EX.
何を知らせようとしてるの？
Dreamseeker also had quite a few important moments this year, but the highlight of her character development came in Chapter 9EX, when she finally got to confront Leila face to face. Leila tried everything she could to sway Dreamseeker's resolve and make her go back and continue her task given to her, but Dreamseeker opposed her and held true to her own ideals until the end, showing once and for all that she is not Leila and that they are two different people. In the end, she ended up absorbing a part of Leila's authority and got an awesome new drip. Number 5. Helia's Descent into Madness, Part 2, Chapter 7.
次はあるの？
Watching Helia go down the path of revenge and losing herself bit by bit in her pursuit of Litost was quite shocking. What surprised me the most when it came to the moments when she would tap into Revenge Spirit's powers and literally lose parts of herself was how raw those moments were portrayed. In a way, her despair was shown perfectly, and Hoyo didn't shy away from showing us how far she is willing to go in order to kill the Toast in that moment. Helia's journey cemented itself as one of the best character development arcs in the entire game for me. Number 4. Flamechasers vs. the Hershorop Corruption Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Assemble Summer Friendship Resort Event Patch 8.4.
だってこれは楽園で紡がれた愛の物語なんだもの。
if you would have told me at the beginning of 2025 that we are going to get a new story involving the Flamechasers this year, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But Hoyo decided to ride the coattails of Euphorius and Cyrene in HSR and brought back Alicia and the Flamechasers in a new event storyline that was surprisingly good. Look, during the main story I saw a lot of people empathize with the Hirschrop corruption and wishing that things could have ended on a better note for them. Well, if you are one of those people, you will love this event. This is basically a reimagining of Elysian Realm in a more chill and serious manner where everybody gets a happy ending at the end of the day instead of, you know, dying. The Hirschrop corruption still crashes out, but at the end of the day, they have a nice conversation with Alicia about what it means to be loved that is very touching and deep, and things end up on a much brighter note. So if you want to re-experience ER in a more recontextualized way where the Hirschrop corruption gets a somehow happy ending, you will love this event. It's permanently available so you can play it whenever you want. Number 3. Coralie and Helia's Reunion Part 2 Chapter 9.
よかった。よかった。もう二度と会えないかと思ってたよ。この無念を晴らせないまま、あんたを失った後悔の中で生き続けるんだって思ってた。
We left 2024 on a pretty sad note with Coralie dying, and we've waited the entire first half of 2025 to finally see a reunion between the two. So when it finally happened, let me tell you, it didn't disappoint. It's just a nice feeling to see the relationship between these two evolve from two people who couldn't stand 2 minutes near each other without fighting to what we have now, them becoming two people who give off old married couple vibes. Number 2. Helia's Awakening Part 2 Chapter 8.
進んで欲しかったんだ。
嘘だ。みんな嘘つきだ。
Like I previously said, Helia's journey and development were the highlights of the year for me. Watching her sink to the depths of despair after losing Coralie, then rise again and confront revenge spirit, culminating with her inheriting her Battlesuit and finally moving past her insecurities and growing into a powerful Valkyrie that can stand proud even in front of the Randall, was such a delight. What a character! From one of the most boring and insignificant characters in the first arc of Part 2 to probably the best character in Part 2 as of now, Helia really cemented herself as my favorite character in this new cast. But please, don't let Selema know that I said this. And now, before we are moving on to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Revenge Spirit killing her comrade. Part 2 Chapter 7. This was such a crazy, messed up scene. What is wrong with you, HoYoverse? Chinese New Year celebration cutscene. Countdown to Sweet Dreams, patch 8.0. A very well made cutscene showcasing Kiana's new battlesuit and marking the end of the event. Helia vs. Le Toast, Part 2, Chapter 8. I want to highlight the fight between the two. Although Revenge Spirit stole the show, it was nice seeing Helia finally beating Le Toast after losing so much before. And now, number 1, as you all expected, is Helia and Coralie vs. Crown of Seclusion, Part 2, Chapter 9.
大魔王コラリー様だからね。勝敗を決める時だよ。手間のかかる相棒。
一度くらい私の名前をちゃんと呼んでよ。
やだ。
I don't think anyone is surprised about this. Even when I asked you guys what is your favorite story moment from 2025, the majority of you pointed out this boss fight. And it is well deserved. This is the boss fight against Leila's minions that marked the end of the second story arc of part 2. We already knew from the Perception boss fight from last year that Hoyo goes all out when it comes to final story boss fights, but they really surpassed all expectations with this one. This boss fight had everything. Hype music, plenty of cinematic cutscenes, innovating gameplay moments like the split screen controls, a plethora of QTEs, sick transitions to different arenas. What more can you ask? It's also the culmination of Helia and Coralie's character arcs, where we see them fight together and using their newly acquired powers. For me, this was the best boss fight in the entire game. Now, this was the best boss fight in any HoYoverse game that I played until today. Kudos to the Honkai team for this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, these were my best story moments of Honkai Impact 3rd in 2025. Let me know in the comments what were yours. I wish you a happy new year and may 2026 bring us even more epic, emotional and beautiful moments in the game. Take care.